Rosie returned home from her incredible adventure in the Bermuda Triangle, feeling exhilarated and energized. She couldn't wait to see what other adventures awaited her in the world beyond the airport. As she landed at the airport, she was greeted by her old friends, the other airplanes she had met on her earlier travels. They were all excited to hear about her latest adventure and asked her to tell them all about it. Rosie was happy to oblige. She told them about the strange and magical land she had visited, about the creatures she had seen, and about the portal that had transported her there. Her friends listened in amazement, and Rosie felt proud of her bravery and her sense of adventure. But then, something strange happened. As Rosie was telling her friends about the portal, she felt a strange tingle in her engines. Suddenly, she was lifted off the ground and transported back through the portal once again. Rosie found herself back in the magical land she had visited before. But this time, things were different. The sky was dark and foreboding, and the creatures she had met before were nowhere to be found. Rosie realized that something was wrong. She had been transported back to the magical land, but it was no longer the same place she had visited before. She knew that she had to find out what had happened and try to fix it. As she explored the new, dark version of the magical land, Rosie encountered a group of creatures who seemed to be in trouble. They told her that the land had been taken over by an evil sorcerer who had banished all the good creatures and taken over the land for his own nefarious purposes. Rosie knew that she had to help. She joined forces with the good creatures and set out to defeat the evil sorcerer and restore the land to its former glory. As she flew through the skies, Rosie encountered all sorts of challenges and obstacles. She had to dodge spells and fight off dark creatures, but she never lost her determination or her sense of adventure. Finally, after a long and difficult battle, Rosie and her friends defeated the evil sorcerer and banished him from the magical land. The good creatures returned, and the sky brightened once again. Rosie was hailed as a hero by the creatures of the magical land, and she felt a sense of pride and accomplishment. She had saved the day once again, and she knew that there would always be more adventures waiting for her in the world beyond the airport. As she flew back through the portal and returned to her home airport, Rosie felt a sense of fulfillment and purpose. She knew that she would always be driven to explore new places and take on new challenges, no matter where her adventures might take her. Rosie returned to her home airport feeling exhausted but proud of what she had accomplished. Her friends at the airport were overjoyed to see her back safely and couldn't wait to hear about her latest adventure. Rosie was happy to tell them everything that had happened in the magical land. She recounted her battles with the evil sorcerer and the challenges she had faced along the way. Her friends were amazed and in awe of her bravery and determination. As Rosie finished telling her story, she realized that she had a newfound sense of purpose. She knew that she was destined for greater things than just being a regular airplane at the airport. She wanted to go on even more adventures and see even more of the world beyond. With this in mind, Rosie decided to embark on a new journey. She set out to explore the world even further, visiting new and exciting places that she had never seen before. She flew over snow-capped mountains, deep green forests, and glittering cities, always searching for new sights and sounds. As she explored the world, Rosie made new friends and met new challenges. She faced fierce storms and treacherous winds, but she never gave up. Her bravery and sense of adventure were stronger than ever before, and she was determined to make the most of every moment. One day, as she was flying over a vast ocean, Rosie spotted something unusual in the distance. It was a group of dolphins, swimming and playing in the waves. Rosie was curious and flew closer to investigate. As she flew closer, Rosie realized that the dolphins were in trouble. They were trapped in a net, struggling to break free. Rosie knew that she had to help them. She swooped down and used her powerful engines to break the net and set the dolphins free. The dolphins were overjoyed and grateful, and they swam alongside Rosie as she continued on her journey. Rosie realized that she didn't just love exploring new places, she loved helping others too. She knew that she wanted to make a difference in the world, one adventure at a time. And so, Rosie continued on her journey, always seeking out new adventures and new ways to help others. She knew that the world was full of wonder and possibility, and she was determined to explore it all. As Rosie continued on her journey, she realized that there was still so much of the world left to explore. She had flown over mountains, forests, and oceans, but there were still places she had never seen before. One day, as she was flying over a desert, Rosie spotted a strange structure in the distance. It was a pyramid, towering above the sandy landscape. Rosie was intrigued and flew closer to investigate. As she got closer, she saw that the pyramid was guarded by a group of mummies. They seemed to be guarding something important, but Rosie couldn't tell what it was. She knew that she had to find out. Rosie landed her plane and approached the mummies. At first, they were hesitant and suspicious of her, but Rosie used her charm and kindness to win them over. They told her that the pyramid contained an ancient artifact that had been lost for centuries. Rosie knew that she had to help. She offered to use her flying skills to retrieve the artifact, and the mummies agreed. They warned her that the pyramid was full of traps and dangers, but Rosie was undeterred. She was determined to succeed. As she entered the pyramid, Rosie encountered all sorts of challenges and obstacles. She had to dodge traps and fight off ancient guardians, but she never lost her determination or her sense of adventure. Finally, after a long and difficult journey, Rosie found the ancient artifact. It was a small stone, covered in strange writing. Rosie didn't know what it meant, but she knew that it was important. As she exited the pyramid, Rosie was greeted by the mummies. They were overjoyed to see that she had succeeded, and they thanked her for her bravery and her determination. But then, something strange happened. As Rosie held the ancient artifact, she felt a strange energy surging through her. She felt herself being lifted off the ground, transported to a new place and time. When Rosie opened her eyes again, she found herself in a strange and unfamiliar land. It was a world unlike anything she had ever seen before. There were strange creatures and plants, and the sky was a deep shade of purple. Rosie knew that she had been transported to a new dimension, but she didn't know how to get back home. She was alone and afraid, with no one to turn to for help. But then, she remembered all the adventures she had been on before. She remembered the challenges she had faced and the bravery she had shown. She knew that she could face this new challenge too. And so, Rosie set off on a new adventure, exploring the strange and mysterious land she had found herself in. She knew that there would be challenges and dangers ahead, but she was ready to face them all. With her courage and determination, Rosie knew that she could conquer anything that came her way, and she looked forward to all the new adventures and challenges that awaited her in this strange and wonderful new world.